Thanks for tuning in to week 4 of our Water Matters Month series. Today, we will be talking about indoor and outdoor conservation. Hello, my name is Catherine Lee Hing. I am a program project coordinator with Broward County's Natural Resources Division. Today, March 22nd, is World Water Day. So let's talk about water. Remember, water is the solution. As Floridians, we are used to a lot of rainfall, but even though we have all this rain, it doesn't mean that we have an abundance of fresh drinking water. Weather patterns are being disrupted due to climate change, and we're seeing more and more extreme weather events. This is resulting in unpredictable water availability, intensifying water scarcity, and contaminating our fresh water reserves. It's important to keep an eye on these extreme weather patterns because it impacts the water cycle, affecting the quality and quantity of safe drinking water we rely on to survive. The earth has a limited amount of water. What we have is all we're going to get. This is why the water cycle is so important. 97% of the water on Earth is salt water, and that is not suitable for drinking or watering our plants. Only 3% of water on Earth is fresh water. Of that 3%, only 0.5 is safe for us to drink. The other 2.5% can be found in the atmosphere, in glaciers, in the soil, or is just too polluted for consumption. So if we take a look at this infographic by the Climate Reality Project, it does a pretty good job of summing up how the water cycle is being affected. So as temperatures rise, there is increased evaporation from the land and the sea into the atmosphere. The warmer the air gets, the more water vapor it can hold, causing more intense rainstorms. So these storms increase the risk of flooding, and while there's more water, this water often doesn't get absorbed by the earth and runs off into streams. And this water is often contaminated by what we do in our everyday lives. So just imagine the oil and the waste from our cars, or even animal waste from our pets, or from farms, mixing in with the stormwater. As early as 2025, the World Health Organization estimates that half of the world's population will be living in water-stressed areas. In the past 20 years, if we look at this map, terrestrial storage of fresh water has dropped almost half an inch every year since 2002. That's a huge amount. That's almost 8 inches, and it's much more right now. Imagine if you had a fish tank or a pool and the water level dropped more than half a foot. That's a really big deal. So what can we do? Together, we can do our part to protect and conserve our counties and country's water resources. So there are things we can do to reduce stormwater runoff. For example, there are catchment systems like the one in this photo that can divert and store rainwater so that we can stop losing runoff. Now, of course, you don't have to get one so grand or so big. Some people just use a simple barrel to collect water, and they use it to, wash their car, water their plants, and do everyday things instead of tapping in from or drinking water. Another thing you can do when you're at home is to check for leaks. So if you use your eyes, ears, and hands, and if it's something that it's too hard to find, you can use leak detection tablets so you can see where the leak is coming from. Other ways that you can save water at home is if you do find a leak, fix it right away. Because again, a leak, you can be losing up to 20 gallons of water a day. So it's really important that if you detect a leak, to fix it right away. And when you're using your dishwasher, make sure that you only wash full loads of dishes and laundry, because that will save you up to 50 gallons of water per week. Now, I know that I love having long showers, but in reality, if we need to limit these showers. So if we try to limit our showers to 5 minutes, we can save up to 8 gallons of water each time we take a shower. So that's something to keep in mind. Remember to turn off the tap while you're brushing your teeth, because you're losing 2.5 gallons a minute every time it's running. So while you're brushing, just turn it off and you'll be saving water. But also what you could do is also buy water saving devices. So you could buy a high efficiency washing machine or a high efficiency toilet. And it's going to save not just money, but many, many gallons of water a day. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve and Steph for them to talk about climate change.
It may seem like the effects of climate change are a long way off, but they are not. We're already seeing them.
And we're all paying for them. Tides are higher in many parts of South Florida. High tides regularly flood the streets.
We can see the flooding, but we can't see what's happening underground. The sea is also pushing into the groundwater, threatening to turn our drinking water salty.
Planners are already thinking about where to find new water supplies and how to get that water to customers at a reasonable price. In the meantime, we have to save the water we have to ensure we'll have enough fresh water today and in the future.
There are so many ways we can come together to save.
So thanks for listening to Steve and Steph. So although a shortage of clean drinking water is the most immediate threat to human health, water scarcity can have even greater consequences. So if you think about it, if people can't get enough water for sanitation or hand washing, lots of different types of illnesses tend to spread a lot more easily. Food safety can also be affected. So when soil dries out and then it becomes more and more compacted, it's more likely that the rain will run off the surface and not be absorbed. It won't be soaking into the ground, and then the water will tend to carry contaminants to crops instead. So just remember to always turn off the tap, never leave it running, so that we can save and conserve the clean water that we have. Now let's hear from Mike and Jeff. Thank you very much for listening, and please check out our social media. So you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or you can check out our YouTube page for more information. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff DeLoyan, and I'm a natural resource specialist with Broward County. Welcome to the water conservation portion of Water Matters Month, Saving Water Together, 20 Years of Water Conservation. Let's talk a little bit about weather-based irrigation technology. First, let's break down the topics that we'll be discussing here. What is weather-based? These are digital timers that use advanced technology to assess current and forecasted weather patterns to formulate watering schedules. EPA WaterSense certified. The EPA WaterSense label represents optimal water efficiency and performance. How does it do it? Well, we will discuss the magic behind the automated sprinkler system adjustments in the coming slides. Weather-based advantages let you take advantage of cutting-edge technology to save water and money too. Why a weather focus is critical to water use efficiency. Over half of potable water use in Florida is used for irrigation, in a state that averages over 50 plus inches of rain annually. Why do we irrigate so often? It's not necessary. Is weather-based for me? Yeah, we'll take a look at this subject a little later in the presentation. And let's get excited. Rebates for WaterSense Label weather-based technology are available in Broward County. Some restrictions apply. Weather-based irrigation defined. If you've never seen a weather-based timer before, this is an example pictured here. This device can be considered a step above its standard digital timer because it actively uses weather data to affect irrigation scheduling. These devices engage with the weather to generate a watering schedule ideal for your landscape, using landscape information and daily weather data. It will delay or skip scheduled irrigation events when rain is forecast or when recent rainfall has been sufficient. Do you have a lot of open turf on your property? What kind of sprinklers do you use? Are there very shaded portions? These elements are all inputted into the weather-based timer to develop a proper watering schedule. A little bit of background. The most popular weather-based controllers share two traits. They are EPA WaterSense labeled, which are tested and certified to use less water when used correctly. Always look for the WaterSense label when purchasing irrigation products. And they are Wi-Fi compatible and app-based. So think about it. If you use apps for your doorbell, radio, or even a refrigerator, well, now you can have an app for your sprinkler system. A few principles at work. There are essentially two principles at work. Essentially, weather-based timers automate what we should be doing to be efficient with our outdoor water use. They irrigate when it's necessary, skip events when not necessary. The soil-water balance equation formulates a watering schedule for you by estimating how much moisture is present in the soil and whether irrigation is needed to replenish depleted water reserves. Weather triggers are used to regulate a user-set watering schedule. Let's take a look at both principles. The soil-water balance equation. What is your landscape comprised of? Does your front yard have full grass and sunlight? Does your backyard have shade trees, pool decking, or paved walkways? Soil-water balance inputs, such as plant types, shade, sprinkler inventory, etc., are needed to estimate watering needs in each area. A full sun-exposed front yard full of turf will always need more water than decorative vegetation aligned along a rear pool deck. That's because water is being removed or transpired more rapidly in the open, warm turf front yard area. The soil-water balance inputs will help conserve water in the backyard while providing an enhanced amount of water in the front yard. Weather triggers. What if you want to water twice a week as a starting point? Most people are used to the twice a week standard. Look at the graphic. Weather trigger adjustments can be made to use specific inputs to skip or adjust watering if chance of rain is a certain percentage, 60%, 80%, the temperature is too hot or cold, wind speeds, etc. As an example, a cool cloudy forecast in February or a significant rain forecast in August would trigger the weather-based programming to water less or skip the event altogether. Additionally, these weather trigger adjustments can be altered as often as you want. Why weather-based irrigation? On a digital system, weather-based timers make life easier in three ways. They monitor your outdoor water use at home from anywhere in the world through your timer's app. Automatic irrigation year-round is not a problem, as the timer will adjust to seasonal changes and will delay skip events when rain is forecast or sufficient. Weather-based controllers operate using Wi-Fi informed weather data and eliminate the need for rain sensors. Irrigation is meant to supplement rainfall for your landscape. 3 questions that should drive our South Florida irrigation scheduling year-round are: is it growing? Is it dry and hot? Is it raining? Dry and hot weather doesn't always mean the landscape is actively growing. A cold season rainfall doesn't always benefit the landscape. It can get a little confusing for the average homeowner. Weather-based irrigation technology uses local weather data throughout the year to formulate an optimal watering schedule. Let's take a little closer look. The following is a University of Florida graphic taken from research by Dr. Michael Dukes. Looking at the graphic, the red arrows equal ET, evapotranspiration, which is the process by which water is transferred from the land to the atmosphere by evaporation from the soil and other surfaces, and by transpiration from plants. Essentially, water loss movement up into the air. The black dots equal rainfall, getting most of the annual rain throughout the summer months. And finally, the gray bars equal irrigation water requirements, noting the most irrigation need is in the late spring and earlier, drier summer months. Takeaway from this slide: should your watering schedule in May and June be the same as your watering schedule in December and January? Absolutely not. It is interesting to note, looking at the graph, irrigation water requirements drop slightly throughout the summer due to the abundance of rainfall, even as the temperatures average into the upper 80s and lower 90s. A properly programmed weather-based timer will help you water properly throughout the seasonal shifts. A properly programmed weather-based timer will factor in rain events and temperature throughout the seasonal shifts, skipping events when rain is forecasted, adjusting run times when rain is contributed to the soil-water balance, skipping irrigation events when temperatures decrease sharply or when high winds are forecasted. Deficit irrigators. For those of us who take on the responsibility of efficient irrigation practices, otherwise known as deficit irrigators, weather-based controllers would not be a good fit. University of Florida research shows that if you water very infrequently and only when the turf and landscape show stress, the weather-based soil moisture technology will not provide a water-saving benefit. Is weather-based irrigation right for me? Questions to ask yourself if you are considering making an investment in weather-based irrigation technology. Do you want total control of your sprinkler system? I think most people would like total control over pretty much everything in their lives. Do you set your irrigation system to automatic year-round? Are you comfortable with gizmos and apps? Is your home Wi-Fi adequate to reach outdoors? Would a substantially reduced watering schedule make you uncomfortable? You know, we're just so accustomed to watering every few days in most cases that believing in your sprinkler system to potentially water once or twice a month can come as a shock to homeowners who are used to the minimum twice a week watering. Trust the science, And additionally, if you want to water manually over a morning coffee, have at it. You need to water in a few pieces aside along the swale? Fire up the app anytime. Remember, you have total control over the sprinkler system in a palm of your hand, if needed. Residential irrigation rebate program. So how are we feeling about weather-based irrigation technology now? We're getting excited about the prospects of saving water and money? Well, the Broward County Naturescape Irrigation Service works with 11 municipal partners offering rebates for qualifying homeowners who upgrade to weather-based irrigation technology and associated components. Since the inception of the rebate program in 2019, Broward County staff has visited over 570 residential sites, awarding over 370 rebates with water savings projected over 18 million gallons based on annual use. If you are interested in our residential irrigation rebate program and would like to gauge eligibility, please visit broward.org/irrigation rebate or simply Google Broward County Irrigation Rebate Program. And that's it. Thank you for participating in Broward County Waters Matters Month 2022. For more water conservation information, please check out our website and follow us on social media. And don't forget, check us out on upcoming Facebook Live event for Water Matters Month. It's March 22nd, 12:30 p.m. and we'll be available to answer your questions about weather-based irrigation technology, water conservation, and anything else you need. So once again, thank you very much. Have a great day.